I haven't recorded yet. Damn it. Did you still have a question? Oh wait, you typed it. Everyone, could you please, okay, I can't hear you. So if you have a question, you can ask it. Oh yeah. So what we're gonna do is in the properties, what I want to do is I want to scroll down over here until I find discipline, and it should be set for structural to begin with. So the discipline is structural. Okay. So I want to click the drop down right here. Yep. So that's what I'm showing you. So in the view properties for discipline, I don't want that to say structural because we cannot see any non-structural elements right now. So if we click the drop down here in discipline, instead of structural, I want it to be coordination. Then we click apply. Did you get that? Yes. Sweet. Okay. You're welcome. Okay. Now let's look at the fact we can't see our curtain walls. And this is where we're going to take a look at what's called visibility graphic overrides. So we're going to click on edit right here. We're going to click edit right here. Now what this is, if you've used AutoCAD or a lot of other 3D modeling programs, this is basically what they used to call layers, right? So this is what they used to actually, they would turn on and off layers to see stuff. We don't do that in Revit. Everything in Revit, everything in BIM is object driven, right? And we can see right in the middle here that curtain panels, curtain systems, and curtain wall mullions are all turned off. But also notice that the visibility graphic overrides is just for this plan, just for this view, right? So all of our other views will not be affected by anything we turn on or off here, right? So we can have independent aesthetics of each view of our model, and that's important when we have, you know, construction documents. So I want to turn on curtain panels, I want to turn on curtain systems, and I want to turn on curtain wall mullions. All three of these. That's what I want to do. Then we click apply. Right here we click apply, and we click OK. Now you can see that we can see those curtain walls. Are there any comments or questions up to this point? Good, good, good. No one's behind? Okay. So one thing I need to do, and I apologize for the people who are on this session, I wasn't recording the very first few things. So if you're watching this recording, you're probably pretty confused right now. So if you're watching the recording, if everyone online can just hang out for a quick second, I'm just going to repeat linking this. So I'm just going to quickly, so I apologize if you're just joining, and I'm going to just really close out of this quick. So under models, I'm going to go new. And for my template, I'm going to go with Imperial Structural Template. I'm going to click OK. That's what I get, right, for not recording it. If I go to Insert, I have to click Link Revit. And you need to browse to where your architectural model is with the radial front there that we were doing in class. Make sure positioning is set Auto Internal Origin to Internal Origin, and then click Open. We want to select this link now, and we want to click the Pin button. We hit Escape a couple times, and in our visibility, and if we scroll down to Discipline, we're going to change the discipline from structural to coordination. Click Apply. Now we're going to scroll back up, go to Visibility Graphic Overrides, click Edit, and we're going to turn on curtain panels, curtain systems, curtain wall mullions. We click Apply, and we click OK. There, you're caught up. Okay. Now, I think right now is a good time to save our model because that's what the smart people do. So click the save icon right here. And I want you to save it as all caps structural. I'm going to put a underscore EW next to mine. You could do the same for yours. I want to go to options though. I only want to have one backup. If you miss the options part, don't worry. Click OK. Let's click save. Okay, two good practices, pinning it and saving it. If you remember nothing else, those are the two most important things. Okay. Now here's what we need to do. First of all, I want to get this level out of here, this elevation. And I did have a question for someone with the roofs. They couldn't see a view. We do need to move these datums out of the building because these, if I select this, that's our section line, right? Because right now that's a section, it's not an elevation. But remember, we need to just pick a box just like this, starting from the left, going to the right, making sure we select both of these elements like that. Yeah. We'll get them like that. Going to hover over this elevation marker. Going to hold down. We're going to drag out. And then we're going to hit escape a few times. Did anyone not get that? Okay. Excellent. Now I want to go to the south elevation. We can go to any elevation to do this. But notice in the project browser, we don't have anything. We don't have all those levels that we created in the architectural model. And there's a reason for it. So let's double click on the south elevation, or in the project browser, you can double click south elevation here. So I'm going to just double click right on south elevation. And hey, look at, I know her. All right, just sitting in there. All right. Now, if we zoom over here, there is all of our architectural levels, but notice when you hover over it, it's that link. There's nothing you can do. But our levels are down here, level 1, level 2, right? The first thing I want to do is, why don't we select level 2? Notice that the whole thing turns blue. There's a little lock, padlock icon, and there's a little alignment line. And most importantly, there's a little grip right here, right between the line and the datum. And it's, if you pick that grip, hold it down and just drag it over to the right, just to get it out of there. Get it out of there. And then we hit escape a couple times. These are our two active levels, right? Did anyone not get that? Excellent. Now here's the thing. This level 2 is your architectural finish floor level, right? Remember we put tile in there, we put wood in there. The structural engineer doesn't really care about that. They care about that, but all they care about is your overall slab thickness, right? Because we're going to put steel wide flange I-beams in here. And we care about the bottom of the slab, not the finish floor, right? So I want to align level 2 to the bottom of this floor right here. So to do that, we're going to go to the Modify tab, and we're going to click on this button right here. This is the Align button, or we can type AL for Align for a shortcut if you desire. So we'll click Align. Okay, now the first object we want to click on is the destination, where we want to align it to. So we're going to pick on the very bottom of this slab right here. You'll see a little blue line. All right, we're going to pick on that. And now we're going to come down and we are going to select our level. It's going to align it. Don't lock it. It's tempting, but don't do it. Don't do it. Now our level 2 is at 11'6". That's our top of steel. Are there any questions on that? Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to make levels all the way up to roof. We don't need a parapet level structurally. You don't need that. We certainly need a roof level, right? So I want to right click, just hover over level 2, right click, and let's go to create similar. Create similar. We're going to select create similar. Right? Now on the draw panel, I want to click on pick lines. This is probably difficult if you only have one monitor, isn't it? I'm going to click on pick lines. For the offset, I want to go 12 feet. Remember, we can just type in 12 and it's going to bump to 12 feet because that's what our units are set for. Now, if we hover over level 2, but notice that I'm approaching it from the top down, we're going to get an alignment line that appears above us, right? It's 12 feet. So once we hover over level 2 and you see that alignment line show above it, we want to pick right where we are. It gives us level 3, right? We want to hover over level 3 in the same manner. We want to create a level 4. I want to hover over level 4, and we want to have a level 5. Now our offset would be 12'6". So change your offset to 12'6", right? And we hover over level 5, and that's going to be even with our roof level. That is where we need it, because notice our roof is in addition to that level. So we're going to pick that like that. Then I want to hit escape a few times. If you got thrown off, let me know, because it takes a little while to get. I sometimes screw this up. I go extremely slow when I'm at this point of a project. Okay, from what point did it not work? Do you still just have level 1 and 2? Okay, so I'm just going to undo mine. If yours worked, hang out. You're good to go. I am going to undo mine back to here. So yours looks like this, correct? Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Zoom in on it a little bit. Hit escape a few times. Okay, hang on one second. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm up to the current text. Okay, hit escape a couple times. What I need you to do is right click on level 2, and you should have a dialog that pops out, a context menu, and you should have the choice to create similar. Do you have that? Well, if you type now, you're going to lose it. So I assume you do. So I'm going to click on create similar. Now on the draw panel, we have our pick lines button right here, pick lines. For the offset, we want that to be 12 feet. So you're going to type in 12 right into the offset dialog. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hover over level 2, but we're going to approach it from the top, moving down towards it. Once you see that alignment line show below level 3, I want you to pick on level 2, and it's going to pop level 3 in the right spot at 23'6". We're going to keep going. We're going to go to level 4. We're going to go to level 5. Now the roof level is going to be 12'6", because we do want those to align. So for our offset, we're just going to type in a 6 instead of a 0. So we have 12'6", and we're going to offset level 5 up, and it's going to align with our roof. We're going to pick that, then we're going to hit escape a few times. Did that work? You bet, no problem at all. Good, good, excellent. Now, what we need to do, make sure everyone hit escape. And also, if we look over at our project browser, very similar to when we first started our first night, level 1 through 6, and then site, and we have 2 analytical levels, but that's just for structural analysis, obviously. We're going to ignore those. So they should basically match what we've got. Yours should look like mine, essentially. But obviously level 6 is still roof. I don't care if you're an architect or a structural engineer. Roof is roof. So we're going to click on level 6. We're going to click it again, all caps. We're going to type in ROOF. We're going to hit enter. And we're going to say, yes, we would like to rename the corresponding views. So click yes. Hit escape a few times. Oh, there's a bubble. There's a bubble. This fucking thing. Okay, good. Okay. Did anyone not get the roof level renamed at 60 feet? Excellent. What I want to do is I want to scroll down to the bottom now. There's nothing down. There's no foundation, right? So we need to create something for our foundations. So if you right click again on level 1, you can hit escape a few times. Right click on level 1, okay, and go to create similar. On the draw panel, click on pick lines. For the offset, I want to go 6 feet. Now we'll offset level 1 down, right? So we're going to do a little bit of the kind of the opposite. We're going to approach level 1 from the bottom up. And then once you see that alignment line move downward, we're gonna pick that there. Then we're gonna hit escape a few times. Did anyone not get that? Ooh, Buffalo Bill season tickets. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll close my. You guys are lucky you don't have to hear me freaking out about the Buffalo Bills every night. This is one luxury that you get for not having to deal with me in person. Hit escape a few times. Okay, now I want to rename level 7. Did anyone not get this? Excellent, excellent, excellent. So we're going to select level 7. We're going to click it again. In all caps, we're going to type T period O period footing, Footing. Anyone know what the TO means? Anybody?
Top of footing?
Top of footing. Jacob got it. I like how you spell your name. My son's name is Jacob with an O. You probably get that a lot, though, don't you?
Yeah. I'm Polish, so that's the way you spell it here, but
my son is only half Polish, unfortunately. He has my question mark DNA. So hit enter. Would you like to rename corresponding views? Yes. Hit escape a couple times. There we go. Now we're good. Okay. Now here comes the really freaking boring part. Hit save. Saving is not boring. It's exciting. But structural people think of your building as how can we break this up into even squares, right? I don't care how funky it is. It's the job of the structural engineer to try to bring it back to something buildable, something that has a diaphragm, right? They think about loading, they think about that going into the ground, they think about stability, so they think about uniformity. Long-winded explanation, we need to put a structural grid in our model, right? So to do that, what I want to do is I want to go down to level 1 structural plan. So let's go down to level 1 structural plan right here. Now we need to do the same thing in terms of our discipline, right? So for discipline instead of structural, I want to click that pull down and we're going to go back to coordination. We're going to click apply. Did everyone get that? Excellent, excellent. Now I do want to set the detail level to fine. Generally, when we're doing structure, our detail level is going to be set for coarse, and we're going to look at that in a little bit and see why. But in this case, I want to see, as the structural engineer, what your wall is. Now, I didn't tell you what the wall is going to be. You're the architect. I don't care. All I know is I got to put a grid in there. So I'm going to come down to my detail level. And instead of coarse, I'm going to click the flyout here, and I'm going to set my detail level to fine. All right, that way I can see basically what you've got there. Okay. So I know that I want a structural grid right up the middle of your wall here. Okay. So to do that, we're going to go to the structure tab. We haven't been here yet. Look at all those beams and stuff. Structure. Now, just because we have a tab with a bunch of buttons on it, that doesn't mean those items are loaded into your template. But because of the fact we use the structural template, makes these buttons work, right? They wouldn't have worked if we were in the architectural template. It'd say there's no beam loaded. We'd have to go load one. But in this case, we have most of this stuff loaded, okay? But what we need to do is we need to create a grid. So all the way down here on the datum panel, you see we have a grid icon right here. So click on grid. Okay, now on the draw panel, we need to click on pick lines. Okay? Pick lines. I know this is awkward. It's not that intuitive until you've been using it for a while. So we're going to click pick lines. Now we're going to zoom into our wall here, and I want to hover right over the center line of that wall. It's not, I mean, it's either going to be the outside face or the center line. So hover right over the center line till you see that little blue dotted line, and you're going to pick it. And then you can hit escape a couple times. And now we have our number 1 in here. Did anyone not get that? Good, good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we need that's ugly, right? We need to drag that out of there. So we're gonna go ahead and select this number 1, and it lights up those grips. Look at this grip right here is identical to the composition of the level, right? So it behaves the same way. So if you select that grip, right, you're gonna pick that little grip, and you're just gonna drag it up a little bit. I'm being attacked by an animal. Okay, we're gonna drag that up a little bit. Now, if we pan down to the bottom of this, you'll see we got the same grip, only we can't see the bubble because this has not been checked. So we're going to grab this little grip. We're going to pick it. We're going to drag it out of our building. And we're just going to click on this little show bubble button. Show bubble button. Did anyone not get that? There's no shame in it if you didn't, because it's a kind of finicky. Okay, good. Excellent. Hit escape a couple times. Now here's what we're going to do. And again, a structural engineer is going to lay this out best they see fit. If you got a window or something in the way, you're going to have to campaign for them to move that grid, and it's you got to come up with a pretty good reason for them to do it. But what we're going to do is we're going to select grid line 1. Okay, just select it, and we're going to just simply click on the copy button. This is not copy to clipboard. This is the Revit copy. We're making multiple copies, and we're controlling the movement of those copies. So click the copy button. Okay. Now, if we click on constrain, that's going to force it orthogonal, right? It's going to go straight. If you click on multiple, well, that's pretty much self-evident, right? Now, what we want to do is we're going to just click, we're going to pick a point, because we need to pick a point of displacement And then we need to pick the destination points in succession, right? So succession, not secession. You're not leaving the union. So we're going to click on any point right here along column line 1, and we're going to move our cursor to the right. And 25 feet is about the threshold. So type 25 and hit enter. Grid line 2. Keep going to the right. Type 25, hit enter. Keep going to the right. Type in 25 and hit enter. Now, the last thing that I'm going to do here is I don't like it, but it's not going to be exactly 25 feet. But I do want to make sure that it lines up exactly with this wall here. So you're going to zoom into this wall, zoom in really close, and you can see that alignment line, just like we had when we started on the first one. So once you see that alignment line, pick that wall, and then hit escape a couple times. So we've got that aligned right to that wall right there. And yours probably looks more like that. Did anyone not get that? You sure? I'm glad. Okay. All right. Hit save. Make sure you hit save. Make sure you're doing it. All right. Now this one's tricky, because you see how these two walls converge? This is a situation that needs structural help, just because there's two different wall systems, and we need an inside column grid too to support that awesome curtain wall you guys built. And I know someone's doing Whitman Hall, curtain walls all day. So in this case, zoom out a little bit and right click on column line 5 and go to create similar. You know how I like doing that. And I'm pushing a habit on you. You could always go back to the structure tab and click the grid button, right? I'm pushing my habits on you. I like to just right click and create similar, because that's how the cool kids do it. Okay, now with create similar selected, we need to zoom in real close to this area here. And if you move your cursor right over the center line, you can see the end points of that alignment line. It's kind of sketched line. I can see some of you are having connection issues. It's kind of cool that I can see that. Okay, you all look like you're back now. Okay. So we're going to hover over this, and we're going to wait till it hits that end point of that dotted line. And again, if you're just kind of logging back in, I saw a few were logged out and back in. We're in this area here for the bird's eye view, right? Now I'm going to zoom in close. And we're going to pick this point right here, this end point, like that. Pick it. I'm going to zoom out. And notice that once I get into alignment with column line 5, it's going to kind of snap into place. That's just for drawing aesthetics. So if we bring it up and snap it kind of into place, pick that point and hit escape a few times. Did anyone not get that? You sure? Okay. This is great. This is great. Hit escape a few times if I didn't just say that. I think I say it in my sleep. I'm pretty sure I do. Select column line 6. And there's a little grip right here. You see it? The same as in column line 1. We're going to pick that little grip and we're going to drag it out. Now I'm wheeling in and out. So I'm holding down the pick button with my index finger, and I'm wheeling out and I'm panning around with my middle finger on the wheel button on my mouse. It's amazing I don't have carpal tunnel syndrome. So I'm going to drag it down into alignment, and then we're going to just turn on the bubble. We're going to click show bubble. And we're going to hit escape a few times. Everyone got that? Anyone not get it? Okay, good. Hit save just because it's a good thing to do. Okay, now horizontal grids, right? We got to add our horizontal grids. So let's do that. Zoom into this intersection again. Now, this is my favorite grid intersection, 1A. Usually, you're laying a building out based on that coordinate. I don't want to call it a coordinate, but generally, when you go out to a site with nothing built and you see a bunch of sticks sticking up with orange tape on it, those are probably column line intersections. So you want to be precise because obviously they're using survey equipment to do it. They're not just going out there with a tape measure, right? They're shooting that exact area, right? So it's an important, 1A is an important grid intersection. So to make a grid, we all know how to do that. We're going to right click on column line 1 and we're going to click create similar, right? On the draw panel, we're going to click on pick lines. It's like we've been doing, it's redundant. It's redundant, pick lines. Now, the same that we did for the west wall, we're going to do it for the north wall. So we're going to hover over this intersection right, or this center line right here, and we're going to pick it. Right, we're going to pick this little grip here, and we're going to drag it out. And if we zoom out a little bit and pan down, we can turn on the bubble. You can drag it out a little more if you want. I went a little faster that time because we've already done, well, 7 of them now. But if I'm throwing you off, just let me know. I know it's difficult to follow along like this. I couldn't do it. I don't know how you folks do it. So hit escape a few times. Okay. Now select column line 7. We don't want grid line 1 7. That would just be silly. We're going to click on number 7. It's going to be a capital A. Column line 1A. Right. We're going to pan down to the other side here, and A is stuck there. So we're just going to grab this little grip, and we're going to drag column line A out until it clears our building out to about there. We're going to hit escape a few times. I told you this was tedious. I told you. But this is the most important part of the project. It really is. Because at the same time, if the structural engineer starts moving their grids and columns, you're going to get annoyed with them. You're going to stop moving those grids around. You know, they say the same to the architects, please stop moving your ceilings. It's good to be set. I've never been on a project that was set even after it went out to bid. So that's a unicorn, but you try to do it as good as you can. Is anyone not with me? Anyone behind? Great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to copy column line A down to that long wall. I know I just got done saying that the structural engineer is not going to really follow your walls too much, but they will follow a long demising wall like this. So if you select column line A, right, we're going to click copy. Make sure constrain is turned on and multiple. They should be turned on by default, but we're only going to copy it down once because I want to see what you have for walls on level 2. Okay, so right now I'm going to grab column line A, and we're going to pick a point like right here, just like we did on column line 1, but I want to make sure we're outside of the building footprint just a little bit. I'm going to pick a point right here, and we're going to come down. Now notice that if you hover your cursor over that long corridor wall there, or the demising wall, you can see that it picks up the center line of it. So once you see that, pick it. Then hit escape a couple of times. A and B. Got it. How you guys doing? All right? Excellent. Very good. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump up to level 2 because remember we have that corridor. So let's go to level 2. I mean, an engineer would want a column line right up the middle of your corridor, where you don't want them to do that, do you? I don't want them to do that. But notice that now that we're in level 2, look, our bubbles aren't turned on. Our detail level is set for coarse, right? That's because everything we did in level 1 for our view only reflects level 1. It doesn't reflect level 2, which is fine. So I'm just going to grab these two columns and I'm going to turn on the bubble just for guidance. And what I'd like to do is we're going to copy B down to here, then down to here. Okay. So select column line B, click copy, pick a displacement point along column line B outside of the building footprint, and we're going to copy it down to this corridor wall here. And because constraint is turned on, we can move our cursor in here. It won't go diagonal. So pick constraint and nearest, and we're going to come down and we're going to go to constraint and nearest. Then we hit escape a couple times. A, B, C, D. Did anyone not get that?
Could you just repeat? So I turned on both of the A and B bubbles on level 2.
Okay.
And then I don't
No
know.
problem. No problem at all. Hang on one second. So you got A and B. Okay. So you're looking at this basically, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So now we're going to select column line B. Hit escape a couple times. Select column line B. Okay. Now we're going to hit the copy button right here. Click on copy. Make sure constraint is checked on and multiple is checked on. So you do want to have check marks in those boxes. We're going to pick a point along column line B, just outside of the building footprint, right about here. And we're going to copy it down. And notice that you can kind of pull your cursor into that wall. Pick a point right here. And then we're going to bring it down a little bit more inside that wall, and we're going to pick a point here. And we're going to hit escape a few times. Did you get
Are
it?
we not supposed to? Yeah, but are we not supposed to have the, like those rooms mirrored onto that bottom part?
Oh, you caught me. I made you all do it, but I didn't do it myself. That was a good catch. I have to go tell the architect they need another set of walls in their model. That was a good catch. I made you all do it, but then I didn't do it myself. So let's go back down to level 1 under structural plans. Or you can go just back to the tab here. And we're just going to finish off. We're going to copy D down to here, then down to here. So select D, click on copy, pick a base points, and we're going to go boop. And then we're going to zoom into this wall here, nice and tight. We're going to go boop. And we've got A, B, C, D, E, F. Did anyone not get that? Oh, this is going so well. It doesn't usually go this well. Of course, there's usually 40 people jammed into a room. And you know you get the recording after. So it is a strange semester, I'm telling you. Okay, now we need 3 more and we're done with grids. So what I want to do is I want to get all of our grids in. We're going to put a foundation wall in. We're going to put a foundation strip footing in. And we'll see how much time we have left. This usually takes a night and a half to do a full structure. Sometimes it takes 3 nights. So we're well on track to getting this all completed in a reasonable time frame. So over here, we need 2 more. Yeah, I guess so. We need our 2 more. That's all we need, our 2 more grids. We need 2 at 45 degrees because, right, we want a column here and we want a column here. No, actually, we do need 3 more because we're going to have a radial column. Okay, so the first one we'll put in is the radial column. So let's just right-click any one of these column grids and go to Create Similar. Now we are going to go to pick lines. That's on the draw panel, right? So we're going to click on pick lines. For our offset, we're going to go 6 inches. Make sure you type in the inch mark or it'll be 6 feet and it's not going to, they'll be a little too far away. Now, if we hover over this radial wall here, you can zoom in on it. I want that to offset into the building. This is going to be exposed steel. We'll use 6x6 tube steel, so it's aesthetically pleasing to some degree. So we're going to click on the inside wall right there, and we're going to go. Okay. Now notice that you can click on this little grip here to show bubble, and you can grab this grip and pull it in a little bit. Don't worry, it's going to go tangent upon that arc, so it's not like it's going to skew it. And then down on the bottom, we're just going to grab this one and pull it out because we want to have a clear intersection right there, and then hit escape a few times. Are there any questions or comments? Did anybody not get it? This is just fantastic. This is just fantastic. All right, we got 2 more to put in. 2 more. Right click on grid line B or G or whatever, doesn't matter. Create similar. Now here's the problem, because we got to pick a point in the middle of all this mayhem. And notice that it's not really tracking. I'm not comfortable with that. It's close, but it's not where I want it. So I want you to type SC for snap center. Don't hit enter, just SC. If you hover over grid line G, notice that it pinpoints the center point for that grid, right? So once you see that magenta circle show up, pick a point along column line G, and it's going to start your grid line from there, right? Now notice that if you move your cursor up slowly, you'll see that it will snap to 45 degrees. Once you see both those things happen, make sure you're outside of the footprint of your building and click a point right there and hit escape a few times. Now, I gotta think someone didn't pick that up. Everyone got it? Oh, this is just lovely. Hit escape a few times. That's great. Good job. So select column line H, click it again, and I want to rename it to B.1 and hit enter. B.1. Escape a few times. Okay. Now, if we select column line B.1, just pick it, and let's click on our mirror pick axis button right here. Or notice you can type MM. So I'm just going to type, I'm either going to click that icon or I'm going to type MM. And I'm going to hover over that convenient reference plane that the architect put in there for us. We're going to pick this reference plane, assuming the architect has it in the right spot, and it's going to mirror that about the center line of our building, right? And of course, B.2 is no longer a valid name for this grid. It's going to be D.9, D.9er, 9. It's D.9 because, I don't know, structural engineers are weird. They're afraid that there's going to be 8 more grids that go in here. That'll be D.1 to D.9. It's kind of silly, but that's how we do it. Awesome. Hit save. This turned out great. Okay, 7:31. Wow, it's only been an hour. It's pretty intense. These classes are supposed to be 3 freaking hours long. Oh my God. We already hit save, right? All right. The grids are done. Congratulations. Now, here's what we want to do. Okay, we're on level 1, and we want to put in a foundation underneath this, but we have everything set now. If you think about it, right? We have all of our grids in, we have our levels in. So what we do now, the modeling goes so fast in structure. Because think about it, they don't have all the different stuff that architects have. Unless you're out there designing Walmarts and McDonald's, uh, every project that an architect have is unique. Every project that a structural engineer has is not. Outside of your building footprint, everything's the same: concrete, steel, reinforcing. So I'm not trying to impugn the structural engineering profession. That's my background, but it's a different mindset. So that being said, what I want to do is we're going to place a foundation wall underneath your architectural walls. But these grids that we just spent all that time putting in are going to be in the way. So there's a little trick in Revit to just kind of temporarily hide those grids. Then when we're done placing the foundation walls, we'll turn them back on. So if you just select any grid, I chose grid line 1. Now notice down here, there's a little icon with sunglasses on it. It says temporary hide isolate. That's a handy little button. It's a handy little button. So we're going to click that little button. And we're going to hide category. Now we have this little cyan border confirming that we're in temporary hide isolate mode. All we need to do is click those sunglasses again and those grids come back on. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to start modeling some foundations. So staying on the structure tab, right, I want to click the wall button right here. We're going to click on wall. The type of wall we want, if we click the pull down here, is going to be foundation 12-inch concrete. It's not wide enough, but we'll alter it. So I want to select foundation 12-inch concrete. Go ahead and select that. For the depth, instead of unconnected, I want to go down to top of footing. The depth is top of footing. Now the location line, hey, welcome to structural engineering. Pretty much everything we want to be wall center line, almost everything. Okay, and that's true in this case, wall center line. Now we're going to zoom in. Oh, I'm sorry, on the draw panel, we're going to click on pick lines. You can see how dependent the structural engineer is on the footprint of your building. But everything we've done has been based on what you laid out. Okay, so I want to zoom into this wall here, and I'm going to hover over the center line of that wall. I'm going to pick it. Oh. Undo once because we never widened it. I'm sorry, I apologize. Click undo just once. Now, before we pick a line, what we need to do is we need to click on edit type right here. I'm sorry. If I screwed you up, I apologize. Let's click on edit type. It should say basic wall foundation 12-inch concrete, and we'll click edit type. Come on, you little stinker. Get down there. Now for the type, foundation 12-inch concrete, right? Let's click duplicate. For the name, I want to call it foundation 1-foot-6-inch concrete. And then I want to get rid of the number 2. I like to do feet and inches because that's how I have my units set in the model. So I like to mimic that in the naming convention. So click OK. So for the structure, right? So if we click on the preview button right here, this little preview button, see kind of a preview of it, right? For the view, if you click the drop down here, and if you go to section, modified type attributes, it turns black. I don't know why it's post-shade like that, but it just does it. But when we click edit next to structure, it should look more like concrete. So click on edit next to structure. Okay. And we want to keep it concrete, but the thickness, we want that thickness to be 1 foot 6 inches. Just because we called it foundation 1 foot 6 inches, it didn't make it 1 foot 6 inches. Click OK. Click OK. Now, if you pick the center line of that wall, you can see it. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to go right around the whole perimeter of our building, picking the exterior footprint. We're going to click it here. See what I'm doing? See how I'm doing that? I'm going to click it right here. Yep. We're going to go down into here. Pick that. Going to zoom into here. We're going to pick that. Going to pick that one. And we're going to pick the bottom one. We're going to hit escape a few times. I'll give you a second. If you're getting an error saying you have overlapping walls, you need to undo it because you have overlapping walls. Okay? Because not only structurally, they're responsible for their material quantities and cost as well, right? So I don't know if you've ever heard of the term value engineering. A lot of times when you're trying to pull costs out of a project, you're trying to design it with a little more value, right? So if you're just like, yeah, 2 foot walls, if that's more than 3 times adequate, it's too much, right? At some point, you have to design it to what it really is, and that's why, you know, when we look at the older buildings, cost wasn't much of an issue because they're pulling it out of the ground, 10 feet away, basically. We ship it across vast oceans now, so material is certainly a cost factor, and it's also a lead consideration, right? So material is something that we pay acute attention to. Did anyone not get it? Okay, go ahead.
Can we just repeat that? Because when I got to the curve, it didn't follow along the curve. It kind of just made like straight line.
It got all janky. Okay, so yeah, if you want, Andrea, I'm going to undo. See how there's an undo button and there's a drop down next to it?
Yes.
So I'm going to undo all the way down to the first wall I picked.
Okay.
And let's go back through it. Okay. So click on wall.
Yes.
You still have the basic wall foundation 1 foot 6 concrete?
Yes.
Good. Now let's make sure the depth is going to top of footing. We have that?
Okay.
Now let's just pick this up. I'm sorry, on the draw panel, click on pick lines.
Yeah.
Now notice that when we hover over the center of this wall, we can pick it up. So once you see that line, pick it.
Okay.
And you should see the wall form below it. Did that work?
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's grab this one here, pick this wall. Let's come down to here. Let's pick this wall.
Yeah.
Now this one. Okay, now this is the one that got jacked up. So zoom into here and make sure you pick the center line of that wall. Just like that.
Yeah, and then there I got the warning you were talking about, highlighted walls overlapped. One of them may be ignored when Revit finds room boundaries.
I gotcha. Well, what we can do is afterwards, I'm gonna have why don't you email me your model and I'll take a look at it quick. There might be like looking at it, are your lines aligned, like the outside lines? There might be some
Yeah.
out of
What do you mean aligned? Like
like
a
you see
line
how
chart?
so you see how my wall goes continuously, then it starts to taper down on the radius. Does it just have like a jog here?
Not really, no.
Huh. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at it. In the meantime, we can let that go for now. And let's see what happens on the bottom. Right, so if we click on wall again and click on
Oh,
pick
do I not just
line.
continue?
Yeah,
Oh,
because I'm not sure without being able to see it. I'm guessing there's some misalignment in the architectural model. But let's just finish it and then we can look at it after. That's okay. We'll pick on this wall here
yeah.
and this wall here. Did it do the same on the bottom?
No,
Oh, okay. We'll pick
it
this
just
wall
did
here.
it for the curve.
Well, that's weird. But did it do it right here on the bottom curve?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, so with those foundations in, we can uncheck the temporary
Wait,
hide
does it
isolate.
all
Go ahead.
around? Does it go all around to the end?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So yeah, you're gonna pick this wall here too, this wall, and then this wall. So yeah, it's continuous around the entire perimeter. So like if I look at it in 3D, you see that's my foundation wall.
Okay, wait. Sorry. The last one is the bottom one, right?
That would be the last one. Yep.
Like I don't have to re-click the one on the left.
No, nope, because that's the one we started with.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just escaped.
Yep. You know how I like doing that. Now let's uncheck the little sunglasses. And let's reset temporary hide isolate. Of course we're gonna hit save. Who said we're not hitting save? Of course we're hitting save. All right. Now let's go to a 3D view. And let's set our detail level. Let's set that to fine. Now let's set our visual style. Let's set that to realistic. Boy, my computer's really chugging out today. Now you know why you can't see the walls, right? Because of our discipline. But to be honest, I don't want to see your model. I don't want to see the architectural model at all in this one specific view. So let's go back to visibility graphic overrides. Remember that? Remember it when we turn the curtain walls on? Let's click edit. For Revit links, let's go down to Revit links. Let's uncheck architectural. And click apply. Click OK. And there's your beautiful concrete wall. Any questions or comments? Okay. I want to do two more things, okay? Then I'll let you go for the evening. I want to put a strip footing underneath this, and then I just want to link this back into the architectural model, right? Because that's always what you want to do as soon as possible when you're coordinating with other trades, which is going to be every freaking time, right? So let's go now down to our top of footing level under structural plans. But in the project browser under structural plans, Let's go down to top of footing. We can just double click on that. And now we're down here. That, see, it's got the hatching in there and everything. Okay, now we're good. This is not very difficult. So this can't just sit there like that. We need a strip footing underneath it. So essentially, what the rule of thumb is, that footing, if you don't like have a geotech report, if you don't know much about the loading of it, you know, I know Professor McLemore will have you designing from top down. That depends on what information you have. Generally, when we lay this out, we model it. We model it from bottom up. And she's right. You got to design it because you don't know how heavy the building is. You don't know how tall it is. You don't have a geotech report. But when you're first starting, the rule of thumb is going to be, okay, if I have a 1'6" wall, I need to have a 2'6" footing that it bears on at the minimum. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put a 2'6" footing underneath our foundation wall. So to do that, on the structured tab, on the foundation panel, you'll see we have 3 different types of foundations. We're going to use all 3 of them, but in this case, I want to use a wall foundation, and this is considered a continuous strip footing. So click on wall. It's not a wall, it's a foundation. Now, that being said, this is too big. It's 3 feet. We can trim that down. So let's click edit type right here. Okay, we're going to click duplicate right here. At bearing footing, I want to make it 2'6" by 12 inches. Then we're just going to get rid of that 2. 2'6" by 12 inches. Then we're going to click OK right here. Now all we need to change is the width. So the width is going to be, if you just swipe over that 3 feet, type 2 space 6 and then hit enter, it's going to give us our width of 2'6". And the rest is what we want. So let's hit OK. Right. Now notice that we can't draw lines. We can't just put these in. They have to have a wall to exist. They have to be under a wall. So, right, if we hover over this wall, right, if you just hover over it till it highlights it, but don't pick it. Hover over it till it highlights it. Hit tab once. So we hover, tab, and then if you pick it, it's going to put that footing underneath all of them. Now, Andrea, yours might not. It might get to this point and stop. So you might have to pick the walls individually. That only works if it's a continuous wall with no breaks in it.
Yeah, that's what it did.
So that's fine. So all you got to do is, instead of picking the wall, you're going to click on the wall footing. Whoops, I'm going to edit type. Sorry, I kind of got off. 2'6". Oh, okay, so I just got to choose it. So I'm going to grab my 2'6". No, all you got to do is just pick each wall individually.
Do I just click? Wait, I'm confused. Do I just undo?
Yeah, undo.
Okay, and then
Then,
just
yeah,
instead of. Sorry?
Fine. Then go back to wall foundation.
Yeah.
And over here, if you hit the drop down, do you still have the 2'6" bearing footing available?
Oh,
If you click right here.
yes, I do. 2'6".
Nice. Perfect. Grab
And now I
2'6".
go into the tab.
Don't bother with that. You just got to pick them individually. So pick that wall, pick that wall, you know, pick this
Okay,
wall. You just got to do them one by one. Those little shortcuts are nice, but they only get you so far. Sometimes if something's not perfect. So you're just going to pick the wells individually, and that's going to place them in. Did that work?
Yep. Thank you.
Perfect. You're welcome. Let's go to a 3D view. And there it is. Last thing I want to do is I want to close out of this and link it into an architectural model. And then next week we're going to pick off, so we're going to put in piers and pilasters and our steel framing. The steel framing goes really quick. The bulk of what we did today was laying out the grids and the levels and just getting the foundation in there. So if you see this little button here, it says close inactive views. Makes it a little easier to just close out of your model. So click close inactive views. And of course, you're going to save the model. So we're going to click save. And we're going to close out of the 3D view. So close, click close right here. Perfect, 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 perfect. Now, what we need to do is we need to open up our architectural model that we've been working on. So under models, let's go new. Oh my God, I'm such an idiot. Under models, hit escape. Under models, go open, open. Find your architectural model, but notice it puts that annoying backup in there. I always freaking delete these. I hate it. I hate it so much. I'm gonna just delete it. We're gonna select architectural. We're gonna open it. Now it doesn't matter what view you're in. Whoops, see that how I accidentally moved that? Go to a 3D view. Now this is the moment of truth. Is it gonna line up? Is it gonna line up? That's the question. Why mine's taking forever? Oh yeah, I remember I had to do that. Let's make sure that if we scroll down in our properties, just make sure you uncheck section box if you can only see that room. God, it seems like a year ago that we did that. Uncheck section box. I want to see the whole model, everything. Now look how stupid that looks. Doesn't even have a foundation under it. It's gonna in a second. Okay, ready? Go to inserts. Go to link Revit. We're going to find structural. The positioning's got to be the same thing. Auto internal origin to internal origin. Let's click open. Now our structural model is safely nestled under the architectural model, right? If under floor plans, if we go to level 1, notice we now have structural grids, right? You can see grid line number 2. 2A is going to be a problem. We'll deal with that when we get to it. It's going to be an argument. There's a couple others. That one's skimming that. It's probably one hitting a door somewhere. There's got to be. No, maybe not. But you get the gist, right? So this is the mindset that you as architects are going to be running the BIM, and you're going to be making sure these models are lined up. It's not hard to do it, but it takes a professional to do it. And I'll be honest, a lot of gigs that some of my students have gotten have been as BIM managers at some firms. If they weren't really looking for architects at the moment, it's like, well, geez, we could use a BIM manager. Be the BIM manager for a year, and then you move out of that role or stay in that role because it's part of your role. It has to do with coordination and you as an architect are coordinating the whole project, not just your design, right? You're defending your design more than not, right? But when people buy in and trust it and lay their stuff out based on your design, you know, that's where if a change happens, you've got to be able to justify that, right? So let's save this model. And if I hadn't contacted you, I apologize. I think I got everyone, but I don't. My brain is a funny thing. So if I didn't give you just an email or any kind of feedback, I apologize. I forget when I send a bunch of emails out, I get a bunch back, right? And it's if I miss some, I apologize. So please, if you could just reach out, or if you need any help, yeah, please reach out. Hi, is there a hand up?
Yes, because I haven't received the email for the final project thing.
Okay.
Because I've
Okay.
sent you a model. Yeah.
Okay, I will give you an email right now. I apologize. Looks like you're at the very end of the alphabet. I wonder if I maybe
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
scroll down all the way. That could be it. Okay, I'm a wing, so I'm used to being down there, but you got me beat.
All right. Thank you.
I have a
Okay, Z,
question.
yeah, what's up?
So, right, you have the structural model link, but for example, let's say I send you just my architectural one, then you open it.
Uh-huh.
Is there going to be like an error saying can't find structural model, and then it's just not going to load, or will it load the
Oh,
entire thing?
you mean for your project?
Yeah, I guess. So, like for example, like let's say I'm doing my house, and then
Yeah,
I do a separate Revit model that has just the foundation. But
right.
then, like when I submit a project, then only submit that one. When you open it, will it just have everything missing, or?
Yes, it won't be found. You can just submit them both.
Yeah, I was just
But
wondering out of curiosity.
I mean, right now we're doing commercial construction, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming I could just do everything in the same model, right?
Yeah,
Because it's pretty
yeah,
simple, I would assume. Sure.
yeah, yeah. So for all of you that are doing a residential structure such as your house, this workflow isn't quite followed like that. So I don't need the structural model. That being said, right, if you are doing a commercial project with a structural model, it's unfair for me to require you now have two models because you chose something commercial, right? So structure here, I want to cover it because it's important. But for the final project, if you want to include it, that's great, but it's not a requirement. I'm not going to be like, how the hell are you holding this thing up? What are you nuts? I'm not gonna come back on you and be like, where's your structural model? So that's a good question. I meant to would say that at the very beginning of class, almost like a disclaimer. But the structural model is up to you. If you want to have that in there or not. If you know that you're going to be doing a lot of structures, maybe in a studio or something, it might help you to do it. Or if you want to do a model that's just structure, right? Because you remember what I like to see, right? I like to see sheets, right? Sheets and sheets and sheets. So if you have a structure, I had someone do a boat for crying out loud, and they got an A, right? Because they really detailed the heck out of it. So that's a good question. I could have been more concise with my answer, but if you want to do a separate structure model, send both models. If you just don't have time or just don't have one, don't worry about it. Okay. So that's all I got to say about that. So outside of that, if there are there any more questions? You can tell I'm wrapping up. So, okay. Well, thank you for your participation tonight. And luckily I recorded it. So I appreciate it. Please reach out if you have any questions. I think I replied to everyone who did have questions. Oh, thank you, Tina. Please give me a shout. and we'll proceed. You're welcome, Andrea. Thanks, man. You're welcome. Oh, did you have another question? See?
Yeah, yeah, Professor. So we will have like office hour or something that we will be able to like.
I kind of don't, but I'm available anytime, really. I mean, if you want us to like schedule a one-on-one Zoom call, absolutely, let's do that. Just shoot me an email saying you want to schedule one, and I'll throw a couple times out there for you.
All right.
And if those,
Thank you.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. I'll just email it then. Yeah.
yep, absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. You bet. Thank you. Thanks, Jerry.
Excuse me, Professor Wing. Actually have a
Yeah,
question about
Mhm.
the course next semester. Will there be advanced meeting class?
Yes.
Oh.
It's wait,
Okay.
was I just talking to you earlier on email?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I was gonna ask the same thing. Yeah, because they sent us a list of professional electives for next semester, and I also noticed that there wasn't an advanced BIM model yet, but they did say the list was subject to be updated. So
Okay.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. They want me to do, the problem is the waiting list for this class is actually another full class.
oh wow.
So instead of me teaching 3 classes, they want me to just teach 2 beginning classes. I was like, well, geez, it's the progression is they really need the advanced class because that's where we really look at how we're going to use Revit at an actual design firm. I'm back and forth with Karen on it. I'm hoping there will be one, but I don't know if do you ever do summer sessions online?
I usually don't, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't either.
I mean, yeah, I mean, usually just like pay for a summer semester, and then also usually I have like a work or whatever. But
Yeah, you got to pay for the expensive
that's
citizenship.
true.
I'm doing one in summer, but I'm trying to get them to let me just do it in spring, or I'm sorry, in fall. I don't know if it's they just don't want to. I think the problem is the computer lab gets really contested, right? So if I'm in there 3 nights a week, you can understand that students start to get pretty panicky when
Is
I
it
kick
going to
them
be
out.
open next semester? Do you know that?
They're planning on it.
Oh wow, I didn't even know.
Yeah. I was hoping they'd have it open for the summer, but for me, it's like, well, is a huge difference because it's a computer-led course. They're planning on fall.
Mm,
But that being said, like I said, I've got a 40 person wait list for beginning. So I'll keep
I
you
see.
posted.
All right,
I'll keep you posted.
thank you.
Thank
You
you.
bet. You bet. You bet. We'll see you guys.
All right.
Bye bye. Yep.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.